Miami hater refuses to talk about the Miami Heat, and Jay Will, for some reason, doesn't want to talk about Jimmy Butler. Okay, guys, I'm outvoted.
First thing I said was Jimmy Butler is the #1 playoff player in the NBA over the past 4 years.
I think I heard you say that.
Yeah. First thing I said.
We will get to Jimmy Butler.
Max.
I will make sure. Don't worry, Miami, I got you. We're going to talk Jimmy Butler. However, I only, for some reason, have 1 vote, and they have 2 between them. So Giannis is, man.
At least our votes count.
Giannis is the most likable superstar. I'm going to say it. The most likable superstar in sports, period. He's the guy
More
you
than
want.
Shaq?
Well, Shaq's not playing anymore.
Yeah. Like ever.
Yeah, but
who are the most likable superstars in the NBA? He's on the list. He's
on the list.
More of list.
American sports history, Giannis is on the list.
Most likable NBA superstars ever. Shaq.
Sports superstars.
Shaq, Steph. Giannis.
Giannis was asked.
Sports superstars ever?
NBA superstars.
He's on the list. What's not to like about Giannis?
I mean, Magic.
Yep.
Magic
is there.
I mean, it's a long laundry list, Jay.
And Giannis is on it. Giannis is on it. And as you start to whittle down the list, he's still on it.
Giannis is on it.
He was asked at the post-game presser. Now, understand, they're the 1 seed. Vegas says they're the favorites to win. Most experts to start the playoffs are picking the Bucks to win the championship. They're going up against a Heat team without, at first, Tyler Hero, and then later Oladipo. By the way, Giannis goes down. What if he misses? No, he misses 2 games. Now he's back. They're going to win, right? But they lose. They get gentlemen swept 5 games. So clearly, you would consider that a major disappointment, and many people would say a failure of a season. And Giannis was asked at the post-game presser, if the season was a failure, listen to the way Giannis responds to this question.
You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay, do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success. And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? I don't think so. Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win.
I mean, see, the thing, every time he opens his mouth, I like this dude more. Do you hear Giannis? A lot of guys could sit up there and answer the question from the same point of view, but come across differently than Giannis. Giannis does not show any contempt for the person who asks the question. What he clearly tries to do there is explain, Jay, his point of view about things, which I think he articulated very well. And I think the underlying premise of what he says, I love how he says, take care of your family. He's not just talking about his kids. He says, take care of your parents, right? His mind is on the right kind of stuff. And what he says, what underlines it all is when you put in the work, when you try your best, it's not a failure. Even if you don't achieve the goal, you learn something and you come back and you try it again. I got to say, I love the answer.
The answer was on point for me. I think
absolutely
it's for a lot of people, it's how you're raised. And I think if you're a high school coach, a little league coach, that sound that you want to allow younger players to hear, because key in my generation, it was win or bust, and it created a sense of urgency, absolutes like that, when people would say failures. Like when I was in college, if we didn't win it, we failed, right? So 2 out of the 3 years, we failed. But they were all steps towards us actually winning it in the growth process overall when you look at it in its entirety. That's how I'm allowed to frame it towards myself, but it doesn't give permission to other people to call me a failure when I've actually won a chip because I've gone through the steps to do it. And I think for GA, Keith, that was so the way he said that, it didn't come off as him attacking the reporter.
No,
it came off as just try to understand how I see it and where I'm coming from.
No, absolutely. I remember, Jay, I opened my restaurant in Beverly Hills. First restaurant, soul food restaurant, African-American in Beverly Hills. And somebody asked me a similar question. It was like, oh, well, you sold it, it closed down. Do you think it was successful? I said it was successful because just opening the doors is successful in my eyes. It was a success opening the door. Being able to go and get the permits and do this and do that and actually cutting the ribbon and turning up and opening up the doors and clicking the lights is success. And so when Giannis is talking about this from a basketball standpoint, first of all, he's already won an NBA title, okay? To get to another one, as he said, Michael Jordan been to 15 years? Won 6? Does that mean he's a failure because the other 9 he didn't show up? So I get exactly what he's saying, and hats off to Giannis. Now, people will say, based on, as Max said, the sports books had you at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the playoffs, to win the NBA title. People will say it was a failure because you didn't win it based on other people's views. But that doesn't mean that you failed. That just means that you didn't win a championship.
It's
and you come back next year and you run it back.
This is it's really talking about process versus result. I just had this conversation with someone I know well yesterday who has a big goal in their life and feels a little stuck at the moment, but is pursuing the goal, right? When people say they want to live their dream or achieve their dream, the journey is the dream. That's the dream. So you win a championship. You think the dream is that moment, that 1 second in time, and then you celebrate with champagne the next day? That's your whole life, those 24 hours of celebration? Or you sit there and reflect on it for a week? That's the dream? No, the dream was the whole journey that you took. That was the dream, right? And to me, that's what Giannis is saying. He's like, this work we're putting in, this journey we're on, that's all part of a larger success. And along those ways, there are little times where you come up short. It doesn't mean you have failed.
And also, to me, Key, this just continues to prove to people how hard it is to win a damn championship. People say it so nonchalantly. It's hard. Everything has to go right. We talk about Tom Brady and the luck aspect, right? Or Michael Jordan or LeBron and the luck aspect. We're like, luck is by, what's your line about luck?
Luck is the residue of design.
Right?
Yeah.
But to a certain extent, things need to go in your favor.
Got to fall.
Ball got to bounce your way. If Giannis doesn't get hurt in game 1, we may be having a completely different conversation today.
But Kawhi's ball doesn't drop, maybe the Sixers win the chip that year, right?
If Kawhi and Paul George aren't hurt, we may be having a different conversation about the
Clippers.
Clippers.
This gets to something I've been wanting to say about Jimmy Butler, and that's coming up, and we got to get into the Lakers, too.
If
and we got to take your
38.
calls. And Aaron Rodgers had his press conference yesterday.
So much happened.
And the Knicks beat the Cavs and the Warriors. I mean, there's... What a weekend. What a week in sports. Last week and a half. Unbelievable.
I was like, it's the weekend already?
Dude, I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what day it is.
I can't
it's
wait.
nonstop. There's probably a game going on right now.
As I said to New and Yates, I can't wait for the weekend. I need a break.
888 say ESPN KJM.
Hey, it's Greeny, and it's as good a week as we get on the sports calendar. The NBA and NHL playoffs continue fast and furious, and we're counting it down to the NFL draft. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This